UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. Tonight on the show we've got political commentator Benjamin Butterworth. He'll be going head-to-head with writer and broadcaster Emma Wolfe. We've also got prostate cancer survivor Kevin Kibble and screenwriter Richard Sparks. But first, let's go to the news.
Good evening, I'm Sophia Wensler with your headlines at 7 o'clock. Shadow Chancellor Sir Mel Stride is calling for the Chancellor to resign. It comes as Rachel Reeves has been accused of misleading the public by making the country's economic situation appear in a worse state than it really was in the run-up to the budget. A letter from the Office for Budget Responsibility published today revealed it told the Chancellor as early as the 17th of September that the projected £20 billion black hole would actually be much smaller. Downing Street denies Rachel Reeves misled the public about the state of the finances. Elsewhere, Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff has resigned after an anti-corruption investigation. It's after Ukraine's anti-corruption agencies raided his apartment in Kyiv's government quarters early this morning. And Yermak said on social media that from my side, there is full cooperation. The Ukrainian leader has also announced a reshuffle of his presidential office as a result of Andrei Yermak's departure. The US Department of Justice is upgrading charges for the Afghan man suspected of shooting and killing a National Guard member and wounding another to first-degree murder. It comes after the president paid tribute to 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom as a highly respected and magnificent person. She was one of the 2 Guard members shot on Wednesday. The other National Guard member, Andrew Wolfe, who was attacked, remains in a critical condition. The suspected gunman is also in a serious condition. Now, French police are reportedly going to start stepping up intercepting migrant boats crossing the English Channel following months of arguments with the UK over the danger of such operations. It comes as French newspaper Le Monde says they have obtained an official document signed by 4 prefects responsible for beaches around Calais and Dunkirk, from which thousands of migrants head off to England every year. Prostate cancer screening should not be made routinely available for the vast majority of men in the UK. That's according to a committee advising the government. Sir Chris Hoy has said he's disappointed and saddened by the recommendation. The 49-year-old revealed last year his prostate cancer had spread to his bones and that doctors gave him between 2 and 4 years to live. It's understood Health Secretary Wes Streeting is examining the evidence around the recommendation. And the Prince of Wales has backed the UK's bid to host the Women's Football World Cup in 2035. Posting on X, William said there were exciting times ahead. The Prince is a passionate football fan and a patron of the FA. If the bid is successful, it would be the first Football World Cup hosted in the UK since 1966 and the largest single sport event ever staged in the country. Those are the latest GB News headlines for now. I'll have more for you at the top of the hour.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. I'm Lee Anderson, the Reform UK Member of Parliament for Ashfield, and tonight on the show, he's back, our left in the corner. He's a political commentator and just all-round left-wing radicalised nuisance. That's what he is, a nuisance. Also got Emma Wolf, writer and broadcaster. But guys, serious stuff for once. We see Donald Trump in America making all sorts of noises about our wonderful, brilliant mayor in London, Mayor Khan. He's called him some pretty horrible names. He's called him out on several occasions, and vice versa. Let's be fair. Over the past few years, that Khan has said some awful things about Donald Trump. So there's a bit of a battle going off here, Benjamin. But is Trump right to make these comments about our mayor?
No, I mean, he's obsessed with Sadiq Khan. I don't know what it is about the progressive working class Muslim man that became Mayor of London that could so agitate Donald Trump. And actually, the reality is that London is in a fantastic state. Crime is down. The economy looks fine in London.
Oh dear,
people are happy.
Have a drink of this.
Which is more than can be said for Donald Trump, where the growth rate has more than halved and employment has absolutely collapsed since January.
He's just said that with a straight face, Emma. Come on, you've got to come back on that one.
Well, Donald Trump's denunciation of Sadiq Khan as a stone-cold loser is still my favourite insult of all time.
Yep.
Stone-cold loser. Frankly, Sadiq Khan has been incredibly childish. Do you remember? He didn't even have the grace. He didn't even have the kind of diplomatic manners to congratulate the leader of the free world on his election. Do you remember a few years back the pink inflatable Trump
I do,
baby?
yes. Yeah.
This is really childish, undiplomatic and actually rude behaviour from the Mayor of London, from a man who claims to be the Mayor of the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
I'm a Londoner. Unlike most people, I was actually born and brought up in London. And the crime rate, knife crime, all of that. Trump has called out the Mayor of London, and Sadiq Khan doesn't like it, and he can't take it.
I see Benjamin's rolling his eyes in the corner there, as if he's some sort of ignoramus.
Well, I mean, it's quite something to say that...
London.
If you say that your problem with politicians is a lack of diplomacy and rudeness, then I don't know how you end up liking Donald Trump. You know, he is a man that comes to our country, that meets our democratically elected Prime Minister, and then sits there and insults the Mayor of London, elected overwhelmingly by Londoners. It's our choice.
Whoa.
Not Donald Trump.
Listen, Benjamin, it's a bit rich. Emma, I'll ask you a very, very simple question. How many members, if you can count that far, of Labour's cabinet have insulted Donald Trump over the
How
years?
many of them? We know that Angela Rayner has, David Lammy has, Keir Starmer has said some fairly fruity things about him. Sadiq Khan has, although he's not in the cabinet. Many of them have.
Well, they all have.
Well, they all have, exactly. And the thing is, actually, if you look, Donald Trump had the newly elected, very far-left socialist Mayor Mamdani in the White House. And you know what they've learned? They've learned that they can be grown-ups and they can disagree on politics. They can be polar opposites when it comes to their policies and their politics, and they can still talk, and they can still have constructive meetings in the White House. And you know what? Sadiq Khan won't get anywhere near the Oval Office.
Let Benjamin come back to that one, Emma.
Well, so in that case, why can't Donald Trump speak respectfully about Sadiq Khan? I mean, you can't on the one hand...
Because of his track record, I think, Benjamin, that's why.
You can't on the one hand say, I wish people would behave with diplomacy, and then say, the best insult I've ever heard is the president calling him a stone-cold loser.
It's hilarious.
That's blatantly...
It's hilarious.
You're blatantly
Stone-cold loser. Let's hear it again.
Stone-cold loser, Benjamin.
It's fine if you want to behave like that and you think it's OK, but the next...
Oh, the Trump baby.
come on,
behaved like that.
Diplomatic.
Oh, because the Trump baby was so mature. I mean, for goodness sake.
It was pathetic. Admit it, Benjamin. The big inflatable of Donald Trump, that was pathetic and childish.
It's called free speech, Lee. Get used to it.
Free speech.
Oh, dear. Come on, Emma.
It was incredibly rude to do that when you have the president visiting our country.
It's a terrible thing to do. I mean, which other world leader would we do that to, Benjamin, in this...
I don't. Well, but hang on. The point is, it was a
Well, you swerved that one, Benjamin, didn't you?
My point is, it was a grassroots movement of Londoners. Londoners overwhelmingly dislike the politics and the attitude of Donald Trump. OK? And, you know, he's incredibly unpopular in this country, especially in our capital city, and we have a right to stand up against that. I think it's a fantastic example of freedom of free speech, something that Donald Trump so dislikes, because he literally deports people that criticise him.
Something going off in that corner, Emma. I don't know what it is, what's in the drink, but you've got to come back.
Well, Sadiq Khan is not overwhelmingly. You notice I never use the word sir.
I mean, what would you say, Emma? Seriously, what would you say if you...
He's going to go on and on forever. This is the problem.
But what would you say?
Sadiq Khan will go on and on being Mayor of London forever, and I can't take it.
But you've got a child at school, 5 years old.
He turned up at my child's primary school yesterday, and I only found out at the end of the day. I feel like I need to give my 5-year-old therapy for having a Mayor of London at his school. He was celebrating 100 million free, they're not free, free school meals at my son's school, and then he put it all over social media.
And how did you feel?
I know that a lot of the parents would have kept their children off school yesterday.
Yes.
We didn't have the option because we didn't know
He shouldn't be sneaking around school, should he? Really, Benjamin?
What a ridiculous way of phrasing it. Look, I mean, people that are in charge of the country or a city obviously visit the things that they are partially in charge of, right? So there's literally nothing remotely strange. And actually, I think there's something really quite tragic, you know, about a parent saying to their child that they shouldn't meet the mayor of the city. It wouldn't matter, even if Boris Johnson and I had a child.
What about free speech you just spoke about, Benjamin? I spoke about free speech 2 minutes ago.
I would be thrilled if my child or my nieces and nephews, which actually exist, if they met a senior politician. I wouldn't try and demean them. I think it's a really poor parent.
Let's come back to the abusive parent. You, Emma.
No, I'm not an abusive parent. There's nothing childish about that. The fact is that the schools, the kind of agenda of schools, of primary schools and secondary schools nowadays is relentlessly left-wing. Yeah. They're filled with all this stuff. I mean, I get...
free school meal, Emma. Like, what's a relentlessly left-wing agenda?
Children being terrified. My child was terrified the other day about climate change. He told me the world was going to explode. Yeah. That is because they are fed a relentless diet of this kind of hard left ideology that the world is going to end, that we're burning up the planet, kind of Greta Thunberg, Gary Lineker, you know, all immigrants are welcome. There's no balance at all. When I was at school, I didn't know the politics of my teachers.
No, I didn't.
Never have thought whether they were left-wing or right-wing.
No.
Most state schools now are on the left.
And they are. Let's be honest, Benjamin. It might not be too obvious to somebody who's been radicalised like yourself.
Who doesn't have children. You don't experience it until you've had children. Yeah. Because actually, children are told that, you know, all borders are open, that all immigrants are welcome. There's no balance at all.
Sorry, are you telling me...
No. There's no balance in the debate.
Well, Benjamin thinks this is funny, and it's not funny, Benjamin.
Are you trying to convince me that, you know, your 5-year-old is told all these things in what, are they in reception year or something? Like,
year one.
It seems quite unlikely.
No,
that
absolutely.
That they sit them down at 5 years old and say...
All sorts of accusations.
It sounds like a conspiracy.
Benjamin, I honestly, come to Hackney. I will give you a tour of my son's school. You will see, we've spent a month, I think, doing Black History Month. Then it's Diwali, then it's Eid, then it's this, then it's that. And yet they barely celebrate Remembrance Sunday. Yeah. They barely celebrate Christmas. Yeah. It is actually a very, very interesting slant in the education system at the moment towards the left.
It's almost as if...
I would happily give you a tour.
It's almost as if, Benjamin, that some of these teachers and schools are trying to erase our history from these children's minds.
No, not at all. What? I mean, it kind of makes more sense now you say you live in Hackney, maybe. But, you know...
Rude? That's rude.
Why should that make more sense?
Well, it's a very left-wing place, to be fair, isn't it? But, you know, what I would say is that, you know, children should be aware of the full spectrum of the world. I guess if you live in an area of East London, it's probably quite ethnically diverse. And so all of those kids feeling their cultures and their backgrounds being a part of Britain, a part of their education, is a really healthy thing.
I don't think it's healthy. I don't think that a state school being 89% ethnic minority is healthy. I don't think that a white child like my son should be growing up as a minority in their own country. I think there should be a balance, of course.
This should make a fair point there, Benjamin.
We should accept everybody, no matter what their skin colour or no matter what their gender or their sexuality. It doesn't matter.
And, of course, I think Emma's right. We've not been very good at integrating people into our society, have we, Benjamin?
I don't think that's true, actually, because, you know, when you look at all sorts of fantastically successful people, including the Tory party. I think that was one of the many parties you've been in. They had loads of people that...
Hilarious.
Never heard that joke
Never
before.
heard that joke before, Benjamin. Crack on.
I lose track. But they had lots of people from different ethnic and religious backgrounds. We have it in the Labour government now. All those people are fantastic examples of integration. We are the best integrated country in the world, and we should be proud of that. And actually, your child being an ethnic, not in the ethnic majority at that school, well, the fact is they're all British, they're all growing up in our education system. It shouldn't matter.
On that note, we will finish. Thank you, guys. Another feisty effort from these pair. But coming up next, we've got prostate cancer survivor Kevin Kibble.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time for Real World, Real People. I'm joined by Kevin Kibble. Thanks for coming, Kevin. You've got a very sad story to tell, I think, hopefully with a happy ending. You're a prostate cancer survivor. Can we say that?
Yeah, well, I live with it.
You live with it. You're still fighting the battle.
Yeah.
I'm a cancer survivor as well, 22 years now. Seems a long time ago. It is a long time ago. But when I went originally, the GP was a locum at the time. He told me there's nothing wrong with me. And I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew my own body. And I insisted on having a scan. And I went for a scan at the hospital. The hospital kept me in, did an operation the following day. And, hey presto, 22 years, I'm still here. That was testicular cancer, by the way. But you've been suffering from prostate cancer. And you had a similar experience to me?
It was kind of, yes and no. I mean, it was a weird thing that I should have known that I was at high risk. My mother and my sister both died from breast cancer.
Okay.
And my mother's father, my mother's brother died from prostate cancer.
Wow.
So I should have been aware that I was at risk of prostate cancer, and I had a heightened risk because of that. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then somehow we don't have this joined up thinking that these risks exist. And so without having a kind of a plan or a program of testing people regularly, these are the kind of things that slip through the net. So when I was diagnosed, I had no symptoms.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Wow.
I'd gone to the GP for a chest infection that wouldn't clear up, and they gave me a blood test. And to be fair to them, the lady GP that I saw said, "Oh, you haven't had a test for prostate PSA for a while, have you?" And I said, "I don't know if I've ever had one." And said, "Oh, well, we'll add it on." And fair enough. And I got a call from my regular GP the next, 4 days later, saying, "Your PSA level's a bit raised. And we've got a few things that we can do here. It's not very high, it's 5.4. We can either watch it and wait, active surveillance they call it, which didn't seem like a very good idea to me, or you can come in for a physical examination, or I can refer you to urology at the Homerton Hospital."
Oh.
And because my wife and I were in the process of basically selling our house and moving out of London, I thought, I'd like to know if there's something sinister going on, something that doesn't add up, you know. So he said, "Well, we'll wait 10 days and we'll give you another blood test just to see whether it's a result, that's something to do with the tablets you've been taking." The next blood test, the PSA had gone up a little bit further still. And so I said, "Right, I think we should refer you to urology." And that's what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
And it kind of went on from there.
Yeah. See, sometimes this subject is a little bit taboo for men. They suffer in silence, they don't talk to anybody. I know when I was suffering, if you can use that word, when I thought there was something wrong with me, I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I never told anybody till the day I went into the hospital for I nipped back to get my overnight bag and went to see my parents and told them there was something wrong with me. And so, yeah, it's very difficult, I think, for men to open up. But we've seen this week that David Cameron has opened up, and that hopefully will encourage more people to go and get checked, Kevin.
Yeah, well, I hope so. David Cameron was one of the lucky ones, to a certain extent, that it was found early.
Yeah.
It was already too late for me when mine was actually found. When I got my diagnosis, I remember it very clearly, January the 31st, sitting at my kitchen table, because it was done by phone. I was told by phone what the situation was. My cancer had already spread. So it's in my pelvis, lower spine and ribs. That's where it's prostate cancer has a habit of going into your bones. So that's what has happened to me. So I couldn't have any of the other treatments. There's only one course of treatment for me, and that's hormone treatment for life, for however long that is. And
how does that affect your life?
Well, yeah, there are quite some unpleasant side effects.
Yeah.
I'm basically full-on menopausal. I can sit here and all of a sudden I'll start sweating, and I carry a fan around and with me all the time and things.
Yeah.
But also the fatigue is one of the really awful things that it can come out of nowhere.
Tell me about the fatigue.
It's one of those things I kind of feel I'm getting tired, but then all of a sudden it's just like hitting a wall. And I can fall, and I've had a few falls doing that, which isn't very good. And if I'm out walking the dog or something, I always have my phone with me, just in case. And I have a phone a watch that warns me about my heart rates and stuff like that. But I have to rely on my own knowledge of my own body, and only I really can tell. No one else can tell me.
So there will be a lot of men out there hopefully watching this at the moment, and their wives or partners giving them a nudge as well to go and get checked out.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to need backup, and you need an understanding spouse or partner to support you through this journey, because it does change your life. My life revolves around 12 weekly cycles of injections, which we affectionately call the harpoon
Wow.
in our circle, and daily tablets. And then I have infusions for my bones, because the side effect of the hormone therapy is it thins my bones. And then I take blood pressure tablets, because the other side effect is it pushes my blood pressure up. So your whole life changes.
So all this could have been avoided if you'd have gone earlier, do you think?
Yeah, yeah. If it's been picked up before it had spread, metastasized, I could have had it removed, or I could have had the kind of treatment that David Cameron had.
But you had no symptoms, did you?
Symptoms.
So you wouldn't even think to go. But men of a certain age, as we spoke about earlier, do get some symptoms which you just think are old age. Like getting up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night 3 or 4 times.
Had one or two too many beers, and I've got up to them. And those kind of things, you just need to be aware of what's normal and what isn't. And that's, and if you're not sure, go and ask. You know, there shouldn't be this stigma about it. And if you're out with your mates in the pub, if one of the crowd is going to the loo, perhaps a bit more regular than the rest of us, you know, have you had a check, mate? You know, or shall we all go and have a check? And
back in the day, I could have 4 or 5, maybe 5 pints without going to the toilet. Now I think I go probably twice on every pint.
Yeah.
I just put that down to old age.
Well, there was a certain amount of that happens, doesn't it? As we get older, the bits sort of crank up a bit. But it's any change in your toiletry habits needs to be thought about carefully.
So final word, because we've nearly run out of time, Kevin. Final word to men out there who are thinking about getting checked out, not really talking about it to the partners and thinking, well, it will never happen to me.
Well, it does happen to you. Yeah. It happened to me. 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer.
Wow.
So for every pub load of men, you know, there's going to be a handful of prostate cancer sufferers in there. Black men are twice as likely to get it.
Yeah.
And 33 men will die today because of prostate cancer.
Okay, well, Kevin, thanks for that.
And it doesn't have to be this way.
So get yourself checked. That's what Kevin's saying. Get yourself checked. Better be safe than sorry. But hope the treatment goes well.
Thank you very much.
Kevin, thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Not at all.
That's Kevin Kibble. Coming up next, we've got Right versus Left with Benjamin Butterworth and Emma Wolf. It's going to be a corker.
Hello and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. More rain is on its way during the next 24 hours, especially parts of England and Wales, whilst it's going to be clearer and a bit colder further north. We've had an unsettled day for the north of the UK in particular on Friday, but low pressure is clearing away. Behind it we've got a cold northerly wind, a frosty night to come for some parts of northern Scotland under clear spells, albeit with further showers coming into the far north. But elsewhere it's cloudy skies, some outbreaks of rain through Northern Ireland, southern Scotland. But here's the main event. Some very wet weather moving in through the night across England and Wales. A soggy start to Saturday. Frost-free, yes, but very wet in places, particularly through the southwest, Wales, the Midlands, East Anglia and the east of England as we begin the day. But that rain is edging its way eastwards. It's going to clear western and southwestern parts, albeit with showers following on behind. And we've got this showery system also affecting parts of Northern Ireland into southern Scotland. But away from there, plenty of fine weather on Saturday morning. Decent blue skies for the north and west of Scotland. A chilly start with frosty conditions here, but otherwise it's a fine day, and that's the best place to be basically throughout Saturday, because elsewhere it's going to be cloudy, a lot of showers around, or if not, some longer spells of wet weather, particularly for eastern England, and that's a slow to clear band of rain, so it could cause some issues as we go through Saturday afternoon. It then returns into northern England with some snow over the Pennines, but to the north, clearer and frostier, and certainly a frosty start to Sunday more widely across the UK, although we've still got this wind in the east of the UK with some outbreaks of showery rain first thing. That moves into the North Sea, plenty of sunshine follows, just for one day, because after Sunday, decent sunny day, Monday brings yet more wet weather.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
It's time for Right versus Left with Emma Wolf and Benjamin Butterworth. I'm loving the jumper, by the way, Benjamin. Where did you get that from?
I got it in Switzerland last week. I quite like it, but it's Labour red after the great budget we had.
There you go. That's where socialists go to buy the jumpers these days, all the way to Switzerland. But seriously, guys, this week there's been another announcement, a madcap, crazy announcement, in my impartial opinion, and that is there's going to be a trial on puberty blockers for children, Emma. Now, I think this is a form of child abuse.
Absolutely. Gender dysphoria cases have risen 50-fold in the last 10 years. Let me ask you a question, Lee. How many transgender kids did you know at school?
None.
Right? What is going on? There's something really serious going on here. I would argue it's something to do with adults, the way we're dealing with children. Yeah. I think it's social contagion. I think it's social media as well. I think it's medication.
Do you think that for some of these mad parents, it's almost fashionable to have a trans child?
There is that, and I know I know parents that are bringing up their children as gender neutral. So I think there's a lot of adult influence going on here. What we need to do, if there is gender confusion, if there is genuine distress in a child, which is, of course, it can be distressing. Yeah. Yes, they need care, they need love, they need psychological support, they need to be told however they feel, whoever they love, whatever they're feeling is absolutely fine. You do not put them on potentially irreversible, very, very powerful medication. No child is born in the wrong body. No child, no young person should have their natural puberty blocked. You know that campaigners call it puberty suppression and things like that?
Yeah.
No, this is puberty blockers. You can end up infertile, if you're a man or a woman, in later life. What happens if you change your mind?
Yeah.
You know, no child is being denied care. Giving a child
There's something
care
very
is
sinister
love.
about this, Benjamin. It's like we're experimenting on children.
Well, it's not experimenting, of course, because we already know some of the evidence, lots of evidence about what these things can do. But the Cass review, which looked into how we should deal with this question, said that there should be a clinical trial, which is what this is.
Trial on children?
Well, it's not as though it's a new drug, but it's a clinical trial to work out the best ways to handle this situation. Now, the question of whether you knew a transgender person back when you were at school is absurd, because you probably didn't know any gay people. There weren't even gay people out when I was at school. But society changes and people become more able to tell people who they are and be open about that. And what we know is there's serious distress that leads people to be suicidal, that transgender people experience at that stage in life as they develop into a person they don't feel.
No, not at the age of 10. Not at the age of 10. These are barbaric.
You do not know that.
These are
You
barbaric drugs.
You're barbaric, Emma. You're barbaric to say that people who are tackling the most incredible pain in their mind, that they should be denied healthcare. Transgender people.
It's not healthcare.
Of course it's healthcare. It's on the NHS.
It's
healthcare.
It shouldn't be on the NHS.
Right.
To block
You think
puberty.
trans people should be allowed to die? They should form into people that they can't cope with being.
Don't
they
put
should be
words
denied
in my
healthcare.
mouth. I didn't say anything.
You're absolutely
I didn't
wrong.
say anything about people being allowed to
But
die.
that is what happens.
A child at the age of 10, 12, 15 does not. I would not even argue that they need to
why do you think these people say that?
We're talking about children
Why
at the
do
age
they
of
say
10.
that? No. You just said that they're not telling the truth, that they don't feel that way. So why do
Did
they
I
say
just,
that?
sorry, no, sorry, rewind
to
the
be fair,
tape.
guys,
I didn't use the word truth. I didn't use the word
Can we just lower the tone, please? Just,
I did not
listen.
use the word truth.
How about, guys?
And I did not use the word leaving people to die. I spoke
exactly what
first,
happens,
and I
Emma.
explained that people
That's exactly what happens.
Benjamin,
They torture these people.
Emma, I've got a reasonable suggestion. How about we let young people get to 18 or adulthood and let them make their own mind up?
How about we give them psychological support, acceptance and love throughout that process? We all have been through adolescence and puberty. We all know it's a really confusing time. We all know you might fall in love with your best friend. You might feel attracted to people that you shouldn't be attracted to. That does not equate to being born in the wrong body.
It's part of growing up.
Every child should be accepted for who they are. You don't change the gender. You don't block puberty for a young child at that age.
Well, the fact is that, first of all, puberty blockers are reversible. So if you were to have a change at 17, for example, then it would come on later. But the fact is that there is lots and lots of evidence from this country and other countries, it's not a new drug, that this is a way to prevent people growing into a body that causes them a form of torture. And I think there is a naivety, there is an ignorance to the fact that some people are built in a different way and that we should help them be able to live as who they are. Because the suicide rate is a very serious problem, and nobody should look the other way to how you should help those children access
So
healthcare.
Benjamin says there's a lot of ignorance, Emma.
Well, OK, firstly, he said people growing into the wrong body. We don't know what we're like until we grow into our body. We don't know what that feels like.
But I knew I was gay at 9 or 10 years old, well, I fancied boys at 9 or 10 years old, right? I knew that in my head, but I hadn't gone through puberty, so how does that work?
Sorry, being gay is completely different.
No, it's not. It's something
that is built into who you are. I just said we give everybody love and acceptance for whoever they love, whoever they want to sleep with, whatever. I just think we are sexualising the children as young as 10, 11, because you're talking about being gay.
I talked about myself, not other people. I said that I knew that I was attracted to other males at 9 or 10 years old. I hadn't been through puberty. Other people couldn't see what was in my head. That is just like a transgender person who feels it deeply. Why do you think there are so many fully grown transgender adults? Well, when you say, OK, well, where did this start? They will tell you they could sense it at a very young age, but they went through what is essentially torture as the world around them failed to accept or recognise or help.
I'd like to correct another incorrect thing that Benjamin has said, which is it's reversible. Actually, if ovaries don't develop at the right time, if all of the female fertility doesn't happen, you can be sterile later on, you can be infertile. And by the way, Benjamin, something else, you don't have a young child. I have a 5-year-old boy. If my son came to me and said he was gay, if he came to me and said he wanted to dress up as a girl, or he wanted to dress up as a dinosaur, whatever, I would still love and accept him and go with that. I would not let him make decisions at the age of 5 or 10 or 15 that were going to affect the rest of his life.
Benjamin.
Well, I mean, I don't know what I have to add. I feel like we've made the points.
But there is a possibility, Benjamin, if you find the right partner, or that's very doubtful, the way he's ranting at the moment. But in the future, you could get married, you could find somebody you love, get married, and adopt children. And if your child came to you, your adopted child came to you at a certain age and says, I'm confused, I want to be this person, or I want to be that person, or I want to be this sex, would you allow that child of yours to have puberty blockers?
Well, I think the first step that's most important, and it's one of the mistakes that we've had in this country...
Is that a yes or a no, Benjamin?
Well, hang on. Well, the answer is essentially yes, but the point is that I would want them... Well, why are you sneering, Emma?
She's not sneering.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the idea of a child who comes to you in the morning and says they're a dinosaur, and you go, yeah, that's fine, darling. You don't then allow them to have surgery to change them into a dinosaur
not what
or
I said,
a cat.
And this isn't surgery. Surgery is not legal under the age of 18, and I didn't sneer
all
at you.
barbaric.
I didn't sneer at you, did I, Emma? So don't sneer at me.
Wes Streeting needs to cancel these barbaric trials on the NHS immediately.
Well, in between Emma's sneering, I didn't get to my actual point, which is that I think there was a lack of therapy and listening therapy, talking therapy, that is the best way to start with any person that discusses this. And actually, you know, it's probably better that a professional does that alongside the parent, because it must be a minefield for any parent, because they haven't been through it themselves.
I'm glad you've come round to my point, which is we give them
so condescending.
Psychological support was my original point. You give them psychological support, acceptance and love, and that is care.
And you don't condescend them as Emma does.
Right, I think what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to just reduce the aggression in the atmosphere, because, I mean, I think it's that red jumper, Benjamin. It set him off. It set him off. We're going to do the yes or no quiz. You know the rules, guys, don't you? And
yes.
Yeah.
Emma's pretty good at this. And first question, after what we've just discussed, is should puberty blockers be banned, Emma?
Yes.
No. Does the country feel better off, Benjamin, after this week's budget?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Acceptance there. It's that jumper. It's sort of telling the truth. Emma, is Donald Trump right to criticise Mayor Khan?
Yes.
No.
Benjamin, are shirkers better off than workers under Labour?
No.
Ooh, slight tick there, giggle.
No, because I thought you meant Sherpas, like the people that go up like Mount Everest. I was working out what you meant.
I'll give you that, I'll give you that. Emma?
Yes.
And if there was a general election today, Emma, would Labour win?
No.
No.
Ooh.
I mean,
acceptance, agreement. It's 5-5. I'm not going to do a tiebreaker, but we'll go back to one, Benjamin. Are shirkers better off under Labour than workers?
No.
Bear in mind the huge increase in the benefits bill this week.
Well, what we saw is the minimum wage going up to, I think, £12.71 for someone over 21 years old.
They're not shirkers.
Exactly. So, you know, that's why I'm saying the people that are better off are workers and not people that don't turn up to work. But you should, you know, nobody should live in abject poverty in this country, and I think it's reasonable we have social security.
Should everybody, and get my words out, Emma, be able to afford to go to Switzerland for a brand new jumper?
I was going to say, prices in Switzerland. I mean, I remember buying a bottle of water there some years ago, and I'm still paying off the, you know, the back debt. No, look, of course shirkers are better off until Labour get control of the welfare bill and until they get control of immigration and all of that. Everybody should be working and contributing.
I mean, we do have a massive problem that the benefits bill is double what it was before the pandemic, and I think that, you know, I was watching an interview with David Blunkett, the former Home Secretary, the other day, who was talking about the idea that giving cash payments in that form of benefits to people that have mental health struggles is such a peculiar thing to do because it kind of traps them in that situation that if they are depressed, well, having 70 quid a week probably isn't going to make them less depressed, but access to the healthcare that might get them out of it will. So I do think we have to rethink the way we behave.
Okay, guys, 5 each on the yes or no quiz this week. Got a little bit feisty in the debate, a little bit of aggression coming out of you there, Benjamin. I think you just need to lower it a little bit before you come on the show. Maybe go and get some medication, I don't know. But anyway, coming up next, we've got screenwriter Richard Sparks.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
The heavy rain across parts of Greece due to Storm Adele is now moving into Turkey. We could see some high rainfall totals building up. There's going to be some thunder mixed in, even some large hail as well. Further west and a few bits of rain across the southern parts of Italy, elsewhere mostly dry. Much of Spain actually largely dry, similar for southern France, but some wet weather pushing into northwestern parts of Spain and also Portugal, and that will feed further southeastwards through the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Well, that sounds like last orders at the bar. I've got Richard Sparks with me here today, author and playwright, and I've got a bone to pick with you because you're one of the people that made me laugh my socks off back in the day because you was a scriptwriter for Not the 9 O'Clock News. Iconic show back in the 80s.
I was indeed. There were many good writers on that show, by the way, so I can take credit only for a very tiny bit of it, but there was great times and a hell of a talented crew.
So tell me, Richard, how do you get a job on a show like that?
God, it goes back to university days. John Lloyd was a contemporary of mine at Cambridge. I was at Oxford, so we all met in the Edinburgh Festival. Mel Smith was my year, Griff, and, well, he was the only... Rowan was a couple of years later as a graduate student, but it's all that came out of it.
Yeah.
And Pam was from Australia.
So it's a very difficult thing, isn't it, to write things down and then think that could be in a show or on a programme and actually make people laugh. How do you know it's going to make people laugh? Because something that makes you laugh might not make me laugh.
No, well, you just hope. I mean, the first person who's going to look at it is the script editor or the producer, and they're going to say, oh, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to love it. Or, as happened to me several times on that show, somebody's got, this is a good idea, but it's not working, why? And I said, well, they got the joke the wrong way around, and they said, oh, well, can you go and rewrite it?
What's the funniest thing you've ever wrote, you think?
The funniest thing?
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is credit to Rowan, is probably the Schoolmaster sketch.
Yeah, the Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, which I wrote many years ago for a tiny show in Hampstead Theatre. John Cleese and Martin Lewis, the producer, came to see the show, and it was not very good, I have to say. But a year later, Rowan called me up and said, John Cleese just rang him. He's doing another charity show, and can I be in it, and can I do the Schoolmaster?
Wow.
So I said, yes, you can.
And what's the worst gag or line you've ever written?
Oh, God. Oh, I wish you'd given me some warning on that one. I mean, there have been some turkeys.
Yeah.
I think you can block those out if you can.
So who do you test it on, really? Because I do speeches in my job, at conferences. I do all my own speeches. And I always try and put a little bit of humour in there as well, because I think if you can make people laugh, they'll pay more attention to it as well, and make
definitely.
a serious point as well. And I'll say to my office staff or a family member or a friend, I'm thinking about doing this, and they'll say, oh no, don't do that, and then I go out and do it, and it does make people laugh, and they get the point as well.
Could be the wrong kind of laugh.
Well, it could be, yeah, it could be.
There are some occasions you say, this isn't going to work, and it goes, and the comedian does it, and gets a sort of a titter, and they say, see, they laughed. And it's the wrong kind of laugh. They were laughing because they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know. Who do I test it out on? Well, there's always the first reader. You know, it's an editor in the case of books, or it's a producer.
We've got some books here, Richard. I mean,
yes,
what's all this about? What are these books about?
They grew out of my love of role-playing games on the internet. So I was galloping around one night with a bunch of...
Galloping?
Well, I was on...
You weren't actually galloping?
Well, I was a horse, and we were going out on a raid to get up to mischief against another group of 24 people.
What, you were pretending to be a horse, or...?
No. I was pretending to be a battle mage with a magic staff who was, healing his companions and
as you did.
dealing damage.
Yeah.
I just thought, what would it really be like to be this heroic guy on a mission in real life, not in a game, but for real.
Yeah.
And there was only one way to find out, and that was to write it.
So,
and of course, you'd be completely useless. You wouldn't have a clue. I've never held a sword in real life. I mean.
So you spoke about Rowan Atkinson, and of course he did the Blackadder.
Yes, he did.
Which was a firm favourite of mine. Was you ever involved in the Blackadder?
No, I'd moved. I think I was overseas by then. No, that was John Lloyd put it all together.
Yeah.
And very good it was too.
That's pretty timeless. And another comedy from the, I'm showing my age now, when we was watching things like Not the 9 o'clock news, which was pretty progressive at the time, I would say. There was also the young ones on BBC Two, 9 o'clock once, and we used to love that because we were still at school when that came out.
Yeah, everything changed with that show. There's an actor called, do you know N. Rytel?
No.
He's a successful actor, very funny. He said, sitting there watching the young ones, he knew everything had changed. He said, my career's over. Of course it wasn't. But the young ones came on in the early 80s.
Was it? Yeah, about 82, 81, 82.
Yeah, I produced a show called Fundamental Frolics, which was a rock and roll charity. Had comedians, obviously.
What sort of comedians was on there?
Well, all the Not the 9 o'clock news team, and I asked Rick Mail to do it, and he brought Adrian Edmondson along.
Yeah.
And I asked Alexi Sale to be the MC of the thing. Wow. So it's kind of and that was just before the young ones happened.
Yeah.
So that was a nice meeting of generations. Really.
So how do you think comedy's changed over the years? We don't see so many good comedy shows on the TV anymore, do we? It's like we're watching reruns, we're watching YouTube channels, we're watching, people like Jim Davidson's got his own Ustream channel where he replays all the old comedians, and that's sort of what I look at, because I look at normal terrestrial TV or whatever, and there's nothing much on there anymore that's any good.
This, I'll take advice from John Lloyd, who's the expert on this. I was talking about this with him the other day, and he said, there's no budget for it. You could not do a show like Not the 9 o'clock news now, where they used to go outside in the street and those wonderful slapstick comedy sketches of Rowan walking into trees and falling down manholes, pulling faces. That budget's gone.
So I know you've diversified a little bit in your career as the years have passed on, Richard. You've got a pub in Las Vegas, is that true?
Yeah, it's a sports bar in Las Vegas, Sporting Life Bar, we called it. We've actually won Sports Bar of the Year a few times.
Have you poured a few pints in there?
I do not go behind the bar. I had a licence which I had to get in order to open it.
Well, you're behind the bar now. There's no excuses. You know what's coming up next. You've got the pint pot there, and you've got the alpaca beer. I mean, I don't know why you would call a beer alpaca. It's a Bradford thing.
Is there any relation of Kerry?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So you've got 30 seconds to pull the perfect pint, and go for it. Just pull it back as much as you can. Keep doing that. That's it, right? No, there's no cheating.
Froth.
Well, on the bar, please.
No, wait a minute.
No, you've got to go on the bar.
It's all bollocks. Look at that.
And that
looks like an ice cream sundae.
It is actually a comedy pint. I would say, I don't upset you, mate, but that's the worst ever pint I've seen poured in my life. It's truly pathetic.
Yeah, I'll take any superlative. I will take.
It's probably a good job you don't pour pints in your bar in Las Vegas. I'm going to give that. I can't even give it a minus out of 10 because it's the worst I've seen. It's awful. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm delighted to be unique and to stand out among everyone else who's ever attempted to pour joke beer.
I would say, I know you've been a great comedy writer, I would say do not give up your day job. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
That's Richard Sport. What a great guy. Thanks for joining me on Lee Anderson's Real World. It's been another great show with great guests. Coming up next, we've got Friday Night with Matt Goodwin.
Good evening, everybody. Well, tonight we're going to be dissecting those bombshell net migration figures, and I'm going to be telling you why the story is not quite what you're hearing in Westminster. We're then going to be talking about Rachel Reeves and how she is in some seriously hot water this evening going into the weekend. It looks like she's been misleading the country, justifying those enormous tax rises that you're going to be paying for. Then we're going to be going stateside and looking at President Trump's reaction to that shooting. See you in 1 minute.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. More rain is on its way during the next 24 hours, especially parts of England and Wales, whilst it's going to be clearer and a bit colder further north. We've had an unsettled day for the north of the UK in particular on Friday, but low pressure's clearing away. Behind it we've got a cold northerly wind, a frosty night to come for some parts of northern Scotland under clear spells, albeit with further showers coming into the far north. But elsewhere it's cloudy skies, some outbreaks of rain through Northern Ireland, southern Scotland, but here's the main event. Some very wet weather moving in through the night across England and Wales. A soggy start to Saturday. Frost-free, yes, but very wet in places, particularly through the southwest, Wales, the Midlands, East Anglia and the east of England as we begin the day. But that rain is edging its way eastwards. It's going to clear western and southwestern parts, albeit with showers following on behind. And we've got this showery system also affecting parts of Northern Ireland into southern Scotland. But away from there, plenty of fine weather on Saturday morning. Decent blue skies for the north and west of Scotland. A chilly start with frosty conditions here, but otherwise it's a fine day, and that's the best place to be basically throughout Saturday, because elsewhere it's going to be cloudy, a lot of showers around, or if not, some longer spells of wet weather, particularly for eastern England, and that's a slow to clear band of rain, so it could cause some issues as we go through Saturday afternoon. It then returns into northern England with some snow over the Pennines, but to the north, clearer and frostier, and certainly a frosty start to Sunday more widely across the UK, although we've still got this wind in the east of the UK with some outbreaks of showery rain first thing. That moves into the North Sea, plenty of sunshine follows, just for one day, because after Sunday, decent sunny day, Monday brings yet more wet weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray,
Are you a human trafficker?
boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. We're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.